Hi, I'm Red Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 44 years. I'm going through the text again this year, asking Jesus for clarity as I read 2 or 3 paragraphs at a time. And then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So let's get started. We're looking at chapter 14, section 7, sharing perception with the Holy Spirit. And we're going to read paragraphs 3 and 4. So, paragraph 3 says, "It is not possible to convince an unknowing that they know. From their point of view, it is not true. Yet it is true because God knows it. These are clearly opposite viewpoints on what the unknowing are. To God, unknowing is impossible. It is therefore not a point of view at all, but merely a belief in something that does not exist. It is only this belief that the unknowing have, and by it they are wrong about themselves. They have defined themselves as they were not created. Their creation is not a point of view, but rather a certainty. Uncertainty brought to certainty does not retain any conviction of reality." Paragraph 4. Our emphasis has been on bringing what is undesirable to the desirable, what you do not want to what you do. You will realize that salvation must come to you this way if you consider what dissociation is. Dissociation is a distorted process of thinking whereby two systems of belief which cannot coexist are both maintained. If they're brought together, their joint acceptance becomes impossible. But if one is kept in darkness from the other, their separation seems to keep them both alive and equal in their reality. Their joining thus becomes a source of fear, for if they meet, acceptance must be withdrawn from one of them. You cannot have them both, for each denies the other. Apart, this fact is lost from sight, for each is a separate place, can be endowed with firm belief. Bring them together, and the fact of their complete incompatibility is instantly apparent. One will go because the other is seen in the same place. So we're still looking at the impossibility of two opposing beliefs both being true. For instance, if I believe that letting go of my ego is a good idea, then I cannot also believe that it is a bad idea. But maybe I believe that letting go of the ego is a good idea, and yet sometimes I resist doing the things that must be done to release the ego. What has happened is that I think I want to know my true self, but I have some fear about that. Maybe I don't want to think about being afraid of it, so I refuse to look at that belief. Or maybe I don't realize I have fear about awakening, so I unconsciously avoid looking at it. This allows me to believe both ideas. It won't, however, help me wake up. So the solution is to bring both ideas forward at the same time. One will be chosen and the other will be let go because obviously both cannot be true. This is the only way to move forward. For myself, I know I want to awaken, and yet I still sometimes find myself choosing to judge, to hold grievances, and be in fear. In the past, when that happened, I would just not look at it. Or I would say some magic course words over the whole thing, hoping that would work. Now, when it happens, I remind myself of what I really want. And if that is not enough to reveal the impossibility of keeping both, I suffer for a while until I remember why I want to accept the only decision that leads to God. For me, it's not a one and done kind of thing. It's more like a moment to moment decision until I'm so clear that I no longer have two opposing beliefs in my mind. I don't worry about how long it takes. I remain vigilant for this kind of ego disruption and allow the two beliefs to be consciously present in my mind so that the choice is clear. When both beliefs are brought into the light, the false one cannot stand. It only seemed real when it was hidden. I do not have to fight the ego. I only have to look at it with the Holy Spirit. I'm not asked to force awakening, only to be honest. When I'm willing to see that I am trying to hold two opposing ideas, the Holy Spirit joins them in my awareness, and the one that is not true quietly falls away. This is how awakening happens, not by struggle, but by bringing everything to the light. Truth does the rest, and truth always wins. Thanks so much for joining me in this. I also did a contemplation of the lesson for today, lesson 49. So if you like, you can look that up as well. If you found this helpful, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back soon with another reading. See you then.